Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Check it out. Pooh Shiesty has been given a court date, pre-trial, July 1st. They supposed to have their last pre-trial in July 6th. This is what it is. Don't get it twisted. We gonna get into Pooh Shiesty versus Gucci Mane. The street code meets the federal court. We gonna break this down because we already know that July 6th ain't just a court date. That's real life. That's the day that Pooh Shiesty begin to fight for his life. Pooh Shiesty got a trial date, July 6th, federal court, Dallas, Texas. Federal pre-trial is July 1st. That means the internet talk is almost over, so you understand. Now the paperwork starts talking. Now the witnesses start mattering. Now the government has to prove what it said. And this whole case got one major question. What happens if Gucci Mane do not testify? All right, we got the breaking news. We're going to find out what's going on, but let's hear it from the news reporters first and see what it is.
Kidnapping and robbing Gucci Mane at gunpoint. That happened in January. Jeremy Pierre joining us live. Jeremy, they were arrested, late March, early April, and they've already set the trial date. That's coming soon.
Yeah, less than 2 months away. July 6th. It's going to take place in Dallas. The Northern District of Texas is where it's going to take place. Remember, Pooh Shiesty and several others accused of kidnapping, robbing, as well as theft of Gucci Mane. Now, of course, this all taking place in January, but the arrest happened in March. We were live. We brought that to you as breaking news when they FBI, TBI, and other law enforcement agencies raided Pooh Shiesty's dad's home, who also remains in custody connected to this case as well. Now again, all 9 of them, still in custody, and their trials will be held July 6th. Now remember, Pooh Shiesty and Big 30, they are connected in this case as well. Shiesty's lead attorney, Bradford Coyne, stepped away from the case in April last month. However, he still has attorneys on his team representing him. Now, of course, we're going to continue to keep our eye very close on this case. Pooh Shiesty, if convicted, could face up to life in federal prison.
Hey, y'all, so check it out, right? Being that his lawyer done got off the case, big-time lawyer, but he left people from his firm on the case, does that mean that the case wasn't big enough for him to get involved with because he feel like Pooh Shiesty would beat it and he could get bigger money over here and his firm still get the money for they doing their job over here because they got partners too? I think that says a lot that Bradford done got off the case, but he left his team on the case. They're saying that I don't need to be there. Y'all handle that. That's light work. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't gonna be the star of everything. So he gonna let his team win and do what they gotta do, right? But check it out, right? This is what it's about. This is the street question. Did Gucci break code? Gucci versus Pooh Shiesty. Did Gucci break code? And we're gonna talk about Pooh Shiesty, so y'all can't say I'm being biased. But let's keep it all the way real. Gucci Mane built part of his image off the streets. The music, the reputation, the interviews, the I'll never run to the police energy. So when people hear Gucci gave statements to the police, the streets start looking sideways because in the street mind, you can't rap one code then live by another code. When pressure touch your chest, you must handle it, young men. That's why I say don't go out there in the streets, and I know the young women ain't there, so that's why I didn't say young women, because I know we got the rat bastards that looking for anything that unique, Mecca, or you might say out of pocket. But here's the other side. Gucci Mane ain't 21 no more. Now here's the balance. Gucci Mane is not just a rapper anymore. He's a husband, a father, a businessman, a label owner, a man with millions on the line. So some people gonna say, Gucci ain't obligated to play street games no dang more. They're gonna say he graduated. They're gonna say he survived the streets. Why does he need to go back? And now he protects his business with the law that he pays his taxes for, that he's entitled to. That's the argument. But the pushback is simple. If you left the street code alone, stop selling it to the youth. Do y'all agree with that or not? If you left the street code alone, stop selling it to the youth. Now let's talk about Pooh Shiesty, because you know we like to ride. We like to ride over here, right? Pooh Shiesty side, right? So you understand. Crash out or standing on business. Now let's talk about Pooh Shiesty. Society calls it crashing out. The law calls it federal charges. The government calls it kidnapping and robbery. But the street might look at it differently. The street might say he felt played, he felt trapped, he felt disrespected. And instead of calling lawyers, he allegedly brought street pressure to Gucci, who said he was the ultimate pressure down there in Atlanta. But here's the jewel. Street pressure in federal buildings turn into life in prison. That's where young dudes get tricked. They think they standing on business. But the government calls it conspiracy, my young fellas. No Gucci, no case. Not exactly. You know how you say, Gucci man don't testify, you get to go home. Well, we're gonna break that down over here because we riding. A lot of people saying, no Gucci, no case, but that's not fully true. The feds don't need one witness if they got enough evidence. Evidence is key. They say they got ankle monitor data. They say they got license plate readers. They say they got cell phone records. They say they got surveillance. They say they got fingerprints. They say they got social media posts. So the case might still move on without Gucci Mane. But Gucci Mane's testimony is still major because Gucci is the alleged target. Gucci has to explain the fear that he felt. Gucci has to explain the contract that was at question to be forced to sign over. Gucci has to explain what happened in that room. He's the CEO. And nowhere in the indictment you see it running around that Pooh Shiesty robbed Roderick Kelly. It said it robbed the CEO, who's protected by the federal government, and they will prosecute by the fullest extent of the law if you go up against them. Why Gucci testimony matters so much, right? That's what y'all want to know. Y'all want to know why his testimony matters so much, right? The feds can show location, they can show movement, they can show who traveled, they can show who posted jewelry, but Gucci tells the jury one thing: what it felt like inside that studio with a Draco to his mother effing face. That's the one thing they need Gucci to tell them. What it felt like inside that studio Was it a business meeting? Or was it pressure? Was it fear? Was it forced signature? Was it robbery? That's where Gucci becomes important. Those questions must be answered by Kelly or Davis. You know what it is. But like I said, the rat bastards, they're always on the cuts. I give them something to do. That's where Gucci becomes important, because paperwork proves movement, but a victim proves the impact. Gucci's the victim that must provide the impact and the fear and the forced coercion to sign over the contract that he felt. And he must be convincing to the jury. He can't go up there and try to get Gucci man this and that, because all that is going to help Pooh Shiesty. Then you're going to say Gucci did a Woody. He freed Pooh Shiesty. But who got Pooh Shiesty in this situation in the first place by calling the police? We know Pooh Shiesty got himself in the situation in the first place by even getting involved with talking about pulling the Draco to run up on anybody's face to fill out a contract. We got that. Just what you understand, we're just speaking on sides over here, Unique Mecca Audio. We're not picking a side. We're not going nowhere. We just want y'all to understand how this thing plays out. Remember, paperwork proves movement, but the victim proves the impact of the moment. If Gucci don't testify, the defense gets ammo. If Gucci don't testify, the defense gets ammo. The defense is gonna attack that hard. They may say, where's the main victim? Where's the man who made the statement? Where's the rat bastard? Where's the person who says this happened? They may say, you want us to believe police reports, but the man who made them ain't here? How is a man gonna make a police report saying that he's a victim and that he don't show up in the court, and you want us to move forward? But that man who made this happen is not here. That creates doubt, and all you need is a readable doubt. And in federal court, doubt is dangerous for prosecutors, because that's all you need to be the case. He had to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So that doubt that he didn't even show up, but yet he bopped. So that's how important Gucci is right there, part of it, right? Can the government use Gucci's police statements without him? I know a lot of y'all want to know that, right? This is where it gets legal. The government can't just read police reports, like that replaces Gucci, because the defense has a right to cross-examine the witness. That means Gucci may need to sit there, look across the courtroom, look Pooh Shiesty dead in his eye when he tell him, that was you that put the Draco on me, dude. That's how serious this is. I just want y'all to feel the impact of what's really happening. This is no joke. This young man is looking at life in prison. Yes, he screwed up. Yes, he was dead wrong for putting a Draco on his CEO to try and get out of a contract instead of using a lawyer. But when you had no guidance and you've been tricked and misled to believe that the man you're dealing with is going to deal with you on the street level, if everything happened on the street, and then something happens on the street, so therefore you bring it to him as far as the matter on the street, and then he goes to the police, and now you sit in the jail cell, you like, wow, what just happened here? That's how Pooh Shiesty's feeling right now. The man who made the statements have to come in the courtroom and answer questions and let the defense test his story. If he don't come, his statements may become a problem, especially if they were made to the police. If his statements was made to the police, it comes even a bigger problem, because that's not street talk, that's legal talk. That's the constitutional law because the police took an oath to follow the Constitution. So that means if the police said this statement was said based on his oath, the judge 9 times out of 10 go with that. What happens to Gucci if he refused to testify? That's what y'all want to know, right? What's going to happen if Gucci refuses to testify? Now listen close. If Gucci gets subpoenaed, that's not an invitation. That's a court order. If he refused to show up, he could be held in contempt. He could be forced to appear. Now, that don't mean he automatically goes to prison long term, but it means that the court can put pressure on him. Which pressure was more important, or if he felt the most? Was it Pooh Shiesty with the Draco in his face? Or was it the government with the papers in his face saying, sign this, boy, so we can lock him away for the rest of his life with his cohorts? But it means the court can put pressure on him. Because once the feds call you a witness, or as a witness, your image don't matter, your money don't matter, your rap career don't matter. The subpoena matters most and only of all. All right, let's talk about the street trap. You can't sell the code and escape the code. This is the bigger lesson. The street code is not a costume. It's not a marketing plan. It's not a caption. It's not a song hook. Because when real pressure comes, that code comes to collect. If you tell the youth, never run to the police, never cooperate, handle your business in the street, then you better understand somebody's gonna believe you. Someone is gonna believe you. How many believed what Gucci preached on his songs while I was away doing my 26 years in federal prison? Somebody tell me that so I know. All right? Hold up, I'll deal with this later. All right, so that's where we at, right? So now, somebody's gonna believe you, and when they believe you, they may crash their whole life over what they believe in you. So that's why you have to watch what you say and what you preach. Pooh Shiesty's lesson to the youth, right? Let's talk about Pooh Shiesty's lesson to the youth, right? And Pooh Shiesty talk. He say, yo, listen to me, young brothers, and hear me clear. Bad contracts is not worth life in prison. Chain is not worth life. Rolex is not worth life. Label dispute is not worth life. You can feel disrespected, you can feel cheated, you can feel betrayed, but if you answer business problems with street solutions, the feds answer you with years. You know what I mean? And that's it. Just so you understand, Gucci's lesson to the industry, right? Let's talk about Gucci's lesson to the industry, right? And to the older rappers, right? To the bosses, to the executives, to the OGs. Stop selling poison to the youth, then acting shocked when they drink it. You can't keep one foot in the business and one foot in the street mythology. Then play the victim when something happens. Then you want to play victim. That makes no sense whatsoever. When street mythology knocks on your door, either teach growth or stop pretending. Ain't no other way to say it than that. The real verdict before the verdict, right? The jury will decide the case, right? We know the jury will decide the case, right? Now, the judge will decide the law. The feds will present their evidence. The defense will attack every hole. But the streets already got one victim. Everybody loses. Pooh Shiesty could lose his freedom. Gucci could lose his street credibility. The label loses trust. The culture loses another example, and the youth watching this better learn the right lesson. The streets are real, but the federal court in this situation is realer. And prison is the final receipt. So what do y'all think about what I broke down today? I want to make sure y'all know, go cop the book of Rowan Harlem at RowanHarlem.com, right? Cop the book of Rowan Harlem. And I need y'all to hit the like button, right? I need y'all, I understand why people call back to back. I need you to hit the like button. I need you to hit the like button and, you know, give me an emoji or something in the comment, keep it going to get me back in the algorithm. I know my material is fire, but we had some dude mention, I can't get it out right now, say, you got 100,000, the numbers are so low. My numbers are so low, young man, because my content is so real. They only push it if you hit that like button and you hit that emoji. Let's keep it gangster. All right?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
What? Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Yeah. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a raw in Uptown. They be horn Uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in Uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we can.
It was Banks. I'm from Brooklyn. I go from day one with Big Daddy Kane and amongst all the elite artists in the industry. Now Max B, he's a mixtape dude. By the way, tomorrow's his birthday. I don't know if he's kicking his 48, but he's actually born in 1975, May 21, 1975.